What happens when a seasoned wedding photographer tries a brand new editing platform for the first time? In today's video, we're joined by Cortnee Sellner, a wedding photographer based out of Tennessee, who took Polarr Next for a spin and was blown away by the speed. From culling images 10 times faster to effortlessly recreating her signature look by importing her presets, Cortnee shares how Polarr Next brought a whole new level of fluidity to her workflow. Stick around and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more first impressions from photographers around the world. Welcome back, everyone, to another video interview. Today, I've got Cortnee Sellner all the way from Tennessee, which is actually the East Coast, right? It's the East Coast, technically. Yes. Cortnee, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us kind of who you are, what you do, and how long you've been into photography.
Okay. I'm Cortnee. I have been into photography for not 15 years, since 2015. Okay. So for 9 years. I started after we had our first daughter. I've always wanted to do it, but that's when I finally was pushed myself to do it.
What were you doing before?
I worked on in urgent care on medical.
Wow. So worked in urgent care, taking care of people. Do you feel like some of those skills translated into what you do with photography and working with families and people? I mean, obviously not like in medical sense, but
it helped me with communication, I would say. I felt like I was probably more of an introverted person. And then doing that helped me come out, and even photography helped me come out more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I think you're the first photographer that has come out of that medical field. So I want to know, I'm sure you had kind of a hectic working schedule. How did photography fit in there? Did you just kind of have it as a hobby? You would get out with your family, take it on trips, or like, how did that spark come about?
Right. I just did it whenever I could. Mm-hmm. We worked 4 days off 3, but it was like 10-hour shifts. And then, but like I said, after I had my little girl, I went back to work for a bit, and then we kind of just talked and decided to stay home. And so then I pushed photography more, so that way I could still have an outlet for myself, but still be able to be home.
At the beginning of Cortnee Sellner photography, what were your first camera, the first programs you were editing in?
So that's technically Canon. Okay. But it was like a Black Friday special camera. I can't even tell you what it was. It wasn't full frame, because when I started with doing some of those courses and stuff, some people suggested full frame. Yeah. So I got on list because I was just starting. I didn't have the money to fully invest. So I got a Nikon full frame. And then a 50 millimeter lens. Ooh. And that's what I started with. But I'm actually switched back to Canon. Okay. I have a mirrorless one now. Because whenever I started shadowing or second shooting with another photographer, he was like, hey, because I was looking into upgrading to a new one, and he's like, why don't you get Canon and we can share lenses? So
what about like photo editing? Like, have you stuck with Lightroom? That's the only program you worked in?
It is. Yeah. Okay. Every now and then Photoshop if I need it, but pretty much Lightroom.
Okay. All right. So let me take this question out of left field for you. So how would you describe your editing style in 3 words? And what wouldn't you call your style? So use 3 words to describe your style. And then what's something that's like the opposite of your editing style?
So dark, moody, warm.
Okay.
And it wouldn't, so 3 words that it's not.
Yeah, let's do that.
light, airy. Ooh, highlights.
Light,
I don't know.
airy highlights. I like it.
Yeah.
And was there like a specific shoot or project that like defined it for you? Like was the launching point for that dark and moody and warm?
Yes. I felt like that because I was trying to think like what made me go that way. But
Mm,
I think maybe light and airy was just what I'd always kept seeing.
mm-hmm.
And then whenever I went to do it and then start editing, it didn't feel like me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, and so then I just kind of toned in what I wanted, and it just was a little bit darker and shadows.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it went.
Well, I think for photographers who are watching, like even for me, like I understand. Like there's this feeling you get when you're editing and it just like hits right. And you're like, oh yeah, that looks really good. Like I love where this is going. And so I hear that as you're describing it and talking about it. And I'm just kind of imagining those moments for me where like I come across in editing or like I'm editing and I'm like, ooh, no thanks. But like once you get
Yep.
it dialed in, you start to really feel like, okay, I'm really loving this.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So maybe let's talk about your project. So do you do mainly weddings or do you do like a lot of engagements, a lot of elopements? Like what's your diversity there?
Mainly weddings,
Okay.
but honestly, like I do maternity sessions and family sessions,
Mm-hmm.
probably equal to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's more like I can do that during weekday evenings.
Mm-hmm.
So that way weekends are available for a wedding or for family activities.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you know, there's a lot of people, or not people. We're talking to photographers here, okay? There's a lot of photographers out there. When you talk about weddings or capturing weddings, a lot of them are like, heck no, I don't want the stress or anything like that. How do you deal with it? Do you thrive in those stressful situations? And like, how do you navigate it? How do you stay creative as a storyteller?
Well, that's like when I first started, I did not want the stress of a wedding. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted newborns, I wanted babies, like, and then I'm like, it is so stressful to hold somebody else's
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I'm like, that was far more stressful than a wedding. Don't
Wow.
get me wrong, it's stressful, but it's a fun stress.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll be headed, my husband second shoots with me and we'll be headed to a wedding. And I do realize like I get quiet because I think I'm like thinking of all the scenarios that
Mm.
could happen. Then once I'm there, it's just like, it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like when you get your eye into that viewfinder and you just start going for it. I totally feel that. And
Yeah.
then for your shoots, I know like you start to work through it. I'm sure you when you shoot at venues, you know where the spots are, you know your route. How do you
Right.
like navigate that being that storyteller, being that creative person while not being like routine and just going through the motions?
I think, I mean, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I feel like sometimes I live inside my head with it because you want to do something new. You want to not repeat
Mm-hmm.
everything that you've done at the next wedding. But I do try to talk to my couples. I'll send like a questionnaire out asking
Mm.
them like what's meaningful to them, what they would like to incorporate. And that just always adds something different than the last wedding that we would do.
I like that. I like that. I've even considered myself to do questionnaires. I haven't got there yet, but I think that would be
Yeah.
great, massively helpful because I do run through those questions when I meet with them. But having that
Right.
questionnaire ahead of time also kind of takes away a lot of things you don't need to talk about during a meeting because meetings can go for like an hour or so, right? So if you get
Right.
some of those things out of the way earlier, then it's easier to get to the important things. But um, I'm taking that for myself. I'm going to challenge myself, maybe work on that questionnaire. Okay. So now let's talk about Polarr Next, which is, our main reason for meeting and reaching out. We did talk a couple days ago. And again, we just want to get your first impressions. But when you launched Polarr Next on your own time at home and you started working in it, what was your first reaction?
It honestly was pretty self-explanatory once I was able to get everything uploaded.
Okay.
Like the editing panel wasn't hard to figure out. But the best thing that once I got it in there was the culling feature.
Okay. And
that was
the reason for that is because why?
The time consuming that it takes when it I'm trying to figure my words out. How time consuming it can be in Lightroom.
Yeah.
By each picture. And you may have like 50 similar pictures. So I always am like, it could be just like a little different move. And I'm going back and forth like, oh, which one?
Yeah.
So it kind of helped me figure that out without me having to do it.
Let's switch it over and check out your editing process, your culling. So what we've got opened up right now, why don't you kind of walk us through like what you did here?
Okay. I'm going to switch the picture if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. This one, so whenever we had talked and you showed me how to add in my preset, I did, like, that was pretty easy once because I feel like Lightroom, I think I even YouTubed how to do it. But this, like, it was very easy. So I just did that.
And how was it? Like, you feel like it gives you similar results?
The outdoor picture. The indoor ones were a little different. Yeah. But this was pretty, but I mean, even saying that, it was still easy to get to what I like.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So a remedy might be like, you've got your outdoor fine, and then when you do indoor, you could just create a new preset and be like Cortnee indoor or something.
Like I just tweak it a little bit and then I've got what I need. But like this was the before shot.
Oh.
And then
wow.
What we got after.
I love it. And there's something about this composition too where I love like those florals just kind of flowing down behind her, like with her hair. Yeah, that's good. So all these photos here, you did edit and you created a style. What do you think about like all the cohesion and like being able to get your look? Were you able to achieve that?
Yes, on set. Well, now some of them do have like this one, I think is still what I did when I like picked the option that Polarr Next has. I haven't messed with it yet.
Okay.
But
yeah, those are different built-in presets they have.
Yeah. But this one, I think, I thought I did mine on that one. No, I did. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Right at the end there. Okay. And so for culling, what's so cool about it is you have the ability to go right back into that culling mode. You can leave where you left off. And then I see also that you have the locked filter enabled, so you're only showing those locked photos.
Well, I don't know how to get out of that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. So
because it wasn't, and then when I started editing, I saw that it went to lock, and I was like, no, I didn't do that. I didn't need to do that, I guess.
What you could do is you could click it. So at the bottom where it's highlighted, just click it.
Okay.
And so now it's showing you, this is what we call the visible timeline. And I can see that you have one reference. So I feel like you did the express style setup where
Yeah.
you edit one photo and then it will edit the entire gallery based on that one photo. And I like to do that for like shorter sessions or maybe sessions where all the lighting is pretty controlled.
Right. Yes.
So I'm curious.
I didn't realize I could do the other until you were showing me.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could make multiple references, I guess.
Yeah.
But
even in this with the Express, you can still do that.
Okay.
So I'm curious. Go ahead and click that reference filter. I want to see which one that was. This one. Do you remember editing this one?
Yes, but that one is the built-in preset already.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so real fast, and we can work with this. Go ahead and click that off again. The reference filter, yeah, and then just scroll all the way to the left on your film strip. There you go, and then let's just kind of start from all the way at the left. So what happens when you start editing a photo is Polarr Next will automatically lock the image. And that basically just tells the AI, don't process this because the user's done something specific. But we're trying to train the AI to learn your style. So what would be a good habit for you is when you adjust and you get your image to how you want it, mark it as a reference. You can do that in the upper right corner. There's a toggle, or you can just press the M key. And when you do that, the AI will then update similar images that look like it. So for this one, definitely hit the M key. There you go. Okay. And you can see now it's processing 50 images. And so it's updating the style of everything. And I see that you've got a lot of locked.
Did it not process? Yes.
It didn't lock those because those ones are locked. It didn't process those because those are already locked. But click on that photo real quick. That next one.
This one?
Yeah. And unlock it. So on the top right, you can see the toggle. Go ahead and click it off and then watch what happens. Right there. There. It's processing now. There you go. And it's pretty much the same, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you could either unlock them or get into that habit of marking them as references, because then you're telling the AI, I want you to learn like this. And then you can go ahead and click those blue bubbles out of the way. They are good bits of information, but for our recording, don't really need.
Okay. Now, how do I go?
The home button or the home icon, top left. There you go. And then this is where you can, create a new project. There we go.
There.
Okay, let's go ahead and cull. So right now it's analyzing and it's grouping similar images, and then it's also analyzing for keepers. So this is what the AI thinks are like your strongest photos. When you culled that other project, did you find that it selected some pretty good keepers?
Yes. I only had an issue, I think, with one or two that seemed kind of on the blurrier side. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, the rest was great. Okay. I didn't have to, I still looked through each just because it was my first time seeing how, like, what it did and everything. It's a picture that I would have picked, but that was the only thing I would have done a little different or picked a different picture. But it was good.
Okay. Well, right now, as it's analyzing and processing, I would love to see you go through and cull, and you can click away those blue bubbles again. Go ahead and just start culling, and then how do you cull, by the way? Do you assign a certain number of stars or like color filters?
I do pick. I just hit the P in Lightroom. Are you talking about on this?
Yeah.
That's my normal culling. Like in Lightroom, I went through every picture and either hit P or X. But with this, I did. So it has 5.
Okay.
And then out, like I obviously just want one or two of it. So I think I would just hit the stars just to.
Okay. And I noticed like you're using your mouse. Do you ever use like your left and right keys and then you just hit the three key for 3 stars? Or because we have 1 through 5 are the stars on the keyboard, and then 6 through 0 are like the color filters. Yeah. Okay, so for today, maybe we can like pick maybe around like 30 to 50 images.
Okay.
So go ahead and just start going through the groups, looking for images, the cull. Ooh, I love that. was that their cake topper, or is that like their garden decoration?
No, it was their cake topper.
Okay. Go ahead and keep calling, and then I'll kind of chat a bit about the keepers. So the cool thing about the keepers is the AI isn't really selecting. It's not like assigning or rating. It's not assigning like a color filter. It's just kind of a tool to show the user like, hey, these are your strongest images. Like you could see here, this one's like a really good, it's got great face, it's got great lighting, it's got great focus. And so it'll put the green thumbs up saying, hey, like these are some strong ones you should consider editing. And the way that you can cut down your culling time, you've got like 1,000 photos here. You can see on the left side, there's like a suggest keepers with like a slider and the number 300 on that left side. And so the keepers is analyzing your photos and it's looking for 300 of your best images out of these 1,000. And you can change that number to whatever you want. So you can decrease it to like 5, or you can put it at 50 or whatever. And then once you have a number, you can select whatever you want to do, just for example. So we'll go 50. If you look at the bottom, you see that green thumbs up. Now it says keeper 50. If you click it, now it's only going to show you the 50 of your strongest images. And so now you can quickly just cull through 50 instead of all 1,192. And then if you don't like that and you want to cull through all the other images like you were doing, you would just unclick it. How do you feel about these selections here? Like, do you feel like these would be good enough to send like as a sneak peek or something?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't you go through, maybe select some more out of these ones as well? Do you ever see or experience destination weddings in Tennessee? Like, are there people that come to Tennessee to get married, like in the same way that like people come to Hawaii?
Yes. Which is like growing up here, you kind of just think, why? At least I did when I was a kid. Like, who would move here is my thought. But as I got older and probably becoming a photographer, to be honest, and seeing, like, paying attention to detail in the mountains, and like, it's beautiful. And so people will, like, I'm in some groups on Facebook and stuff that are coming from all different states to get married in the Smoky Mountains.
Wow.
And it makes sense now, but before it was kind of like, that's kind of, I would rather go, let's say, Montana, or because I like cooler weather.
Yeah.
I don't love being hot, but it's pretty nice.
Overall, your like experience with culling is just, it's fast, it's smooth, no lags, going from photo to photo.
I like it's grouped together. Because I have a second shooter, so with it grouping with that, it just makes it go by a lot smoother and quicker. I don't feel like I would spend days doing it.
Wow. I love that. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and head over to that next section here. We'll go ahead and edit.
Where do I need to go? Here?
Yeah, there you go. Right at the top. And then you
So
select
the
there you go. Okay. Let's go ahead and create new style. And let's go advanced. Okay, so now we've got the suggested. That's a great block of text to read, but basically the AI is going to select out of those 34 images, select some images for you to edit. And we'll get rid of these little bubbles. And then that one down there. Cool. So this is where you want to spend most of your time editing and dialing in your look. And we'll love to see you get that dark and moody look with your preset, and then whatever else you need to do with Polarr Next.
So it did it all the pictures.
Yeah. Do you normally edit with multiple presets or mainly just with one?
Mainly the one.
Okay, cool.
And I'll just go in and I probably take too long doing it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it only happens during setup. So it's not going to happen when we go to the next part. Just during setup. And I liked how you went right to that subject mask and it just did that was so fast getting the background and the subject mask.
And that's what I liked too, because it was self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was at obviously I am at an entirely new program, but when you go to a grocery store, a new place, and you're like, I have no idea where anything is. It didn't feel like that. This was good.
I felt like that when I went to Trader Joe's for the first time.
I am sure. I've only been there once. So
if you ever go there again, I highly recommend the coffee bean ice cream. It is incredible.
Love coffee ice cream. Okay. I'll put that in my notes.
Do you have Trader Joe's in your area?
No, we have it in Asheville, which is an hour away.
Okay. Yeah, do it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Right. I'll send that to Hunter. All right.
Nice.
I feel pretty good with what I've got right now.
I love it. You got it so fast. Like you got this like so fast. Okay. So let's see how you would translate this to the next image. Continue with your suggested edits.
Okay.
Oh yeah, see that preset? Just man.
I'd already applied to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wait.
First thing we start off with is that warmth. And you are very generous with it like it. You just go for it.
The only thing which we talked about it when we had our first
click away that blue bubble real quick. And then I'm curious to see when you click that subject mask what it selected.
That's what
Okay.
So it did.
That one is pretty bad. So I wonder if you did background or you could brush them in.
Really just want her back. And
one thing to note too, when you started this brush, there's an auto mask feature. So it might not be hitting everything because auto mask is really good when you're trying to define the edges. So if you hit show overlay, it should show you what you selected. Oh, it didn't do too bad, actually. But you can see where it's like not hitting on some parts, and it's because that auto mask is toggled. So if you just click that toggle, and now you're able to just brush over whatever.
Let's see.
But it is super helpful for those edges and stuff when you're like trying to really get like a good clean.
Pretty cool.
Wow, you really transformed this. I was curious to see how you were gonna deal with it, and you just took it. Wow. Is that like very similar to what your normal style is, or you feel like you need to do a lot more?
Yeah. I'm just gonna do a little bit more.
Okay.
On the green. It'll do it. Yeah.
So you did make a comment earlier about the presets not translated indoors, but these are like not bad starting points.
Right. These worked pretty good. It could have been, and I mean, it was a brand new venue. I feel like, I don't know about you, but I always like that is a kind of a stress if it's a new place.
Yeah.
And you're not sure on the lighting and all the things like that. Like, and that was a new venue at that other one. So lighting was a little questionable, and I didn't have flash that day. So it was a style. So it wasn't as nail biting, but yeah.
Okay.
It's a different light on that.
There's one thing we didn't do as we finished our edits is marking them as references. So you can either do that as you go along, or you can do it at the end, and you can easily like select them all and just press the M key, or you can go individually and just, yeah, there you go. Now it's marking everything for you. And then once it's done marking, then just finish AI style setup.
Finish.
Yes. Okay. And now it's processing. So at the top, there's like the little 4 squares. Go ahead and click that icon, and I would love to kind of see the bird's eye view of what your project looks like. So your bird's eye view, kind of scroll through and then like let me know what like your first impression is, and then like where some places it didn't do good, and then some places that you felt like it did a good job.
These are all good. These are pretty similar. Maybe a little cooler on the side on that.
Okay.
And then that's a little cool too.
Okay. All right. So let's like jump on the ones that you need to adjust.
Okay.
So those bridal dress ones, those are good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and double click on that. There you go. So it's already done processing, but you don't have to wait for it to finish. You can already jump into it and then do the adjustments like you're doing. And
that's awesome.
What was that?
That's awesome that you don't have to.
Yeah, and then as you can see, it's locked it as you started adjusting things. And then once you're done, then you'll hit the M key and mark it as a reference. I like that the subject mask chose the skeleton couple.
Right.
So cool.
And then just go to the other ones, or
mark it as a reference before we move on. So you can, do the toggle on top right, or press the M key, and there we go. And it doesn't look like it updated anything just because maybe didn't find anything similar, but that's still okay, because the game of it is keep marking them, and then your AI is going to keep learning from all the different ones. This image here, is this something that you would take into Photoshop and fix the hair? Because I kind of like it.
Yeah, I haven't done. No, would I do that? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
No, I would leave it too.
Yeah.
I think it's.
So you have that real kind of raw, dark and moody, and then just kind of with the wind, however it blows, like in the moment feel.
Oh wait, yeah.
There you go. All right, you're doing good.
I feel like this was maybe on the board or something.
There you go. See, now that
Cool.
updated.
Yep. That is awesome.
When you edit these types of images in Lightroom, do you kind of do similar things where you do point color on the skin where it's like a
Yeah.
little red?
And honestly, I just saw that feature on Lightroom because they did an update and they took off where you could pick the colors. Like I wanted green, I could just pick green and do the saturation or whatever, and it would do that. But then they did away with it. I was like, I really need that back. But then when I saw the point, I was like, oh. And then I realized that's what I could do. And so then I saw it here. I was like, well, that works perfectly.
Yes. Is it gonna? Oh, yes, it did. I was curious to see if it was gonna update.
That's really better.
Way better. I think after this one, I think we're pretty good. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got to get on with your family. But let's I think we're good. Let's switch over to our other scene here. Okay, so you just brought us through culling, brought us into editing, showed us how you get your look. Give us the honest feedback there, like that whole workflow. How do you like it?
Oh, I really like it. I mean, and it's just very easy. Mm-hmm. It was easy to learn. Like there were some points that you showed me, and it was just you were unable to go in and write in and do it.
If you could kind of sum it up in one word, what would that be?
I would say it's pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah. And I know for those who are watching, Cortnee's not just editing, but she's also streaming her desktop to me, got her camera on and everything. So you'll see things where it gets a little pixelated or whatever, but like on your end, did you experience any slowdowns, any lag, anything?
No, not as far as this goes and stuff.
Imagine we've got one of the engineers sitting next to me. If you could say anything to him, any features or anything that you would like to see in Polarr Next?
The only thing that I think I would like is the face detecting with the
eyebrows, iris, hair, all that.
Yes. I got pretty spoiled with Lightroom with that. It instead of having to like color with the brush all the thing, that was pretty nice. But that'd be the only thing because I feel like it's the culling is 10 times better and easier.
Yeah.
So that would be the only mask that I would like myself.
And how about like generative AI? Do you use that a lot in Lightroom or you just take care of that in Photoshop?
No, that's true. Yes, I do that too. Yes. I would still pick the face detecting, but that is a pretty nice feature too. Because I like to take some texture out of maybe the female's skin or face or something. But I don't like to do it with the guy. And so that way it's easier to be able to just pick the one over both.
Okay. If someone was hesitant to change their workflow and, incorporate AI, could be Polarr Next or whatever, like what would you say to them?
Don't be nervous. It's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I'm super happy to have been able to connect with you and spend this time with you, check out your workflow and see your wonderful edits. Really love your work. And if you want to connect with Cortnee, I've got her website and Instagram linked down below in the description. If you want to check out some more Till Death Do Us Part, some moody, dark, moody, warm edits, go hit her up, give her a follow. It'd be awesome. Cortnee, hopefully we'll see you again in the future, and I appreciate your time with me.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Cortnee's first impressions of Polarr Next. If her experience inspires you to try a faster, more fluid way to cull and edit, head to next.polarr.com and sign up for free using your Gmail. You'll get 2,000 export credits on us, and that's $100 value to kickstart your workflow. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more first impression interviews right here.